sorry, 2-point perspective. Okay, so this is the next step, and obviously, from 1-point perspective. 1-point perspective is pretty confining because obviously we're only dealing with one vanishing point. And the thing about 1-point perspective is eventually when shapes get really far to the outsides of your canvas that you have, of your paper, they start to look kind of unnatural because we understand and we end up kind of learning, where'd my box go, that when we have a box like this, and I have this up in front of me like that, this is how we are drawing it, but this isn't really a straight rectangle. If it's a straight rectangle like this, I lose a lot of that perspective. So when you have something that's really stretched out like this, see, this isn't a flat rectangle anymore. It's kind of a skewed rectangle. So what's going to happen with 2-point perspective is we're taking our view and we're changing it from this view, and we're looking at things like this now. Okay? Now, understand where my viewpoint is, and this is going to hopefully make a little more sense when I get to the presentation. If my view is straight ahead, I have an edge, and then I have my receding lines go back at an angle, and then these receding lines go back at an angle, okay? So the biggest difference that we're going to get to is in 2-point perspective, you don't start off drawing a shape, okay? We'll start off drawing a solid line, single line, okay? Now, if I take this and I go down below my view point, now I have these 2 sides and a top, or if I go like this, I have these 2 sides and a bottom. So we'll cover how to do all 3 of those, okay? Let's get this thing. Okay, 2-point perspective. Right in the middle of my paper, I have a vanishing point. Don't write this part down. That's how 1-point perspective goes, right? We start with our vanishing point, and everything else in our world goes back to this vanishing point. Well, in 2-point perspective, 1, 2, it's hard to see them, bink, I have 2 vanishing points. So on your handy dandy piece of paper that you have somewhere in the middle, please put 2 vanishing points at the outside. Don't put them really close. Put one way over here on this side, and then put one way over here. I'm going to scoot the paper over on this side. So my 2 vanishing points are far away from each other. Okay? Those are not good dots. All right. Now our steps. Number 1, establish your vanishing points. Okay, so please write that down. This is the thing that you're going to take a picture of. You're going to turn it in, and you'll get your points for. So, number 1. And I am writing it down so I can show you what my notes will look like, and so I can take time and I don't rush you guys. Establish your vanishing points. 2 of them. 2-point perspective. Okay. So I have my vanishing points established. If you already wrote down vanishing points, that's fine. But I don't need you to write it down for the note purposes, though, just because I hope that we know what vanishing points are by this point. Okay. So vanishing points are established. Where those vanishing points are is going to be your overall horizon line. Now, I would like you to draw a horizon line with your straight edge, okay? So I'll take my straight edge. I will go from one point to the other, and I will very lightly, you don't need to go really thick, very lightly, I will draw a horizon line. And that horizon line can go outside of your vanishing points. That's totally fine. You see mine, I went all the way across my vanishing points. Okay. Now remember, our horizon line, this is my cheesy sunset. Okay, horizon line is like you're standing on the beach looking out of the ocean, sunset, and that's the horizon as far as you can possibly go. So step 2 now is going to be draw your vertical line. What the vertical line is going to be is the edge of your shape. So number 2 is to draw your vertical line. And that vertical line is going to end up being the edge of the shape. The next part is I'm going to draw my receding lines. But these receding lines are different. Okay, so please write down this next step, and then I'm going to walk you guys through it. Next is to draw the receding. Oh, I spelled receding wrong. There's only 2 E's, not 3. Draw receding lines from both ends of the line to both vanishing points. Okay. So remember, this line that I've made right now is this line. It's the center line of my shape. It's not this one, not this one. This is my straight line on my paper that I made. Understand too that this line, it covers my horizon line. So my horizon line is right in the middle. Okay. So if you have not done so yet, go ahead and draw a line that's going to overlap your horizon line and make sure it's straight up and down. So you will end up having a line like this. My vanishing points are here. My horizon line is established. And then I have one vertical line that is on top of my horizon line. Okay. Now I'm going to draw my receding lines. And this is what I mean when I say from both ends of the line to both vanishing points. My first receding line that I'm going to do, some really important steps. I'm going to go take my straight edge. I'm going to hold it to my left. The order doesn't really matter, but I'm going to go from the top of my line that I have, and I'm going to take it all the way to my left vanishing point, like so. And then, like I've said 10 times already, both, right? So now I'm going to go from the bottom of that line, and I'm going to go to that same vanishing point. It looks just like our receding lines in 1-point perspective. So now I have like a giant triangle. And what I've essentially drawn right now in my diagram is I've drawn this edge that goes away. Okay. Now, this isn't done yet. I need to draw the other side too. So now I'm going to take that top again, and I'm going to take that line to the other vanishing point. So I'm going to take my straight edge. I'm going to go to that top again, and I'm going to go all the way out to the other vanishing point. Like that. And then from the bottom line, I will, again, go to the vanishing point. So we end up having 4 lines. 2 go to one vanishing point. 2 go to the other vanishing point. And I have my corner right there. Okay. So my slides, I finished that out. Awesome. Now, step 4, if you think back to 1-point perspective, it's very similar. You need to add your parallel lines. So step 4 is add parallel lines. And when I add these parallel lines, similar to the other one, similar to 1-point perspective, I can put them anywhere I want. I'm going to stay on one side, though. So say like on this side, I'm going to go from this top line to that bottom line. I can go there. I can go there. Really doesn't matter. I'll put mine like right in the middle. So you can put yours wherever you want. But remember, it's got to be parallel with this first line. So this project, or this line right here, needs to be parallel with this line. It needs to be straight up and down. Okay. So I'll do that on mine. Remember technique, let me do this for you real quick, that I like to use for my parallel lines is I will line up my line first, and then I'll slide my straight edge in order to keep it as straight as possible. And then I will trace my line. That's not very straight. Okay. Then I will add my parallel line to my other side. Now, this one doesn't really matter where it is. Remember, on 1-point perspective, that second parallel line was really important to where the first one was. This is not, because it's a totally different side. Here's my shape, here's my first line. This side over here, it doesn't really matter where it is on this distance compared to this one. If you're making up your own shape, if you're trying to recreate a shape, then it matters. But right now, it doesn't. So I can put that one wherever I want. So I'll just throw that kind of somewhere around here. Oops. I'm using paper, an envelope for a straight edge, and it's not very good. So I have this now. Oops. I have my 2 parallel lines. Step 5, darken the lines you want to keep and erase your receding lines, and you end up having your 2-point perspective shape. I'll use my Sharpie to darken up my lines because I'm drawing with pen. I erase the receding lines that are going back to my anchor points. My vanishing points. Sorry, I was talking graphic design for a second. And then I'm left with my 2-point perspective shape. That goes back to those 2 different points. And obviously, I would erase these if I wasn't using pen. Okay? Questions you guys have with that? It's a fairly simple project. Or process, I mean. Okay? Now, the difference with 2-point perspective is this is complete. It's totally fine. But there are there's one more step. One more step? Yes. There's one more step that we have to add to this process if our shape, if our line does not cross over our horizon line. Okay? Remember my example that I gave you. When I'm showing like this, I can see these 2 sides, right? Like our drawing that we have. But as soon as I go down like this, now I see 1, 2, 3. Or I see 1, 2, 3. So there's a different process that comes right here. So we're going to go over that right now. If my line is above, so this is what I'm going to do. Up here on my notes, I'm going to draw a vertical line straight up and down right up here. Make sure it doesn't come down to the horizon line. Okay. So let me grab my pen. I will draw my vertical line. I'll put it up here. You also want to make sure that it's in between your vanishing points. You don't want it to be all the way out at your vanishing point, because it just throws off your drawings. So see, mine's right here. Similar to the presentation. Okay. Now, look at my 5 steps that I have. Changes up. I can go through establish my vanishing point. I can draw my vertical line. That's step 2. Step 3, draw my receding lines. Okay, so this is the same so far. Let me go through the process with you guys. I'm going to use my straight edge, and I'm going to draw my receding lines. Again, from the top and the bottom of my line to my vanishing point on the left, the top and the bottom of my line, the vanishing point on the right. So I have that. I didn't go all the way just because I'll have this so I didn't erase it basically. So I have that. Still going to my vanishing points. Next step is still the same, adding your parallel lines. Put them wherever you would like. I'm going to make a really wide shape. So I've made my parallel lines to the outside. Now this is where things change up. Because as you see in my shape, and hopefully on the shape that you have in front of you, we have the left side and the right side of the box, but we don't have a bottom. It's totally empty, right? Some of you are kind of jumping the gun and kind of figuring out how this is going to go, but this is where this changes up. Our step 5 now drops down to step 6, and we have a new step 5 added. So right next to my original step 5 that I have on here, I'm going to write another step 5 next to it, and I'm going to write out, add a second set of receding lines connecting the new parallel lines with the opposite vanishing points. It's like step 5.1, 5.2, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to read that as I write it out on my notes. Add a second set of receding lines add a second set of receding lines connecting the new parallel lines connecting the new parallel lines with the opposite. Very important. You can underline it, you can star it, or whatever. Vanishing point. That's a lot. Okay. So what I'm going to do, you see right here, I have this parallel line and this parallel line. So it says add a second set of receding lines connecting the new parallel lines with the opposite vanishing point. So I don't need to take this direction. I already have that. Okay. What I need to do is I need to take these lines this direction to the opposite vanishing point. Because what is happening is it's going to make a side that will be parallel with this. I'll do the same thing over here. Take this point over across this way and this point over across this way. So watch how this grows. I go there, here to the opposite vanishing point, and I mean opposite of this line. So if this is on the left side of the shape, I'm going to take it to the opposite over here on the right. And then I go like that. See, now I have a layout for the bottom box. Okay. And then if I'm going to make this dimensional, I will take the top over there too. The top over there too. There's a lot of lines, right? But this is the way it'll work out. Also, we find out is that if I want to show this back corner, we now have a new corner established where these two lines cross. See right here, we had this line. Well, the parallel corner to that back here is going to be from right here down to right here. Now I can do, like I said before, you can darken all your darken lines you want to keep, erase the ones you no longer need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken all of these lines here, there, there. These is right here. I'm going to leave these back ones and not use them, and I'm going to go like that. Okay, so I will do that same thing on my piece of paper down here. I'll show you it while I do it to make sure we're all on the same page. So I go like this. Now I have my bottom. I have all the spaces. And then using my Sharpie without a straight edge. Not bad for a freehand. So this right side goes to my right vanishing point. Left side will go towards my left vanishing point. Here's my back line. And I end up looking like that. So now you see I have 1 point above, one shape above, one on. If I want to do one below, it will look the same way. But now you just see that my lines go up to the vanishing points, still going across to this one and across to that one. And now I have my different platforms. Okay. Okay. Let me show you some other variations on the presentation. So we have, like before, trying to figure out what lines I want to use. I can go like this and leave all of. Now I have this floating wire box. These back lines. Now it looks like it's hollow on the inside. Okay. And I can do some other variations. I can kind of play with it, depending on which lines you want to show. But that will end up getting our final box. Okay. Let's stay to boxes with this project that we're going to have today, because I don't want to get too crazy into and all that stuff. We'll talk about that after we finish this up, okay, for our last project. But what our project was before. So let me show you this as I write it down. So as it was last time, we're going with 8 shapes. Sorry, I'm not going to call them shapes because I want to give you that freedom. 8 boxes, 3 above the horizon line, 2 on the horizon line, and 3 below the horizon line. Okay, so doing the 3 above, 2 on, 3 below, and when we do this too, you can do it all on one piece of paper. So this is the notes that we have for today. You'll take a picture of it, turn it in, take another piece of paper, but do your one horizon line, and all of your shapes can be on this one piece. So it's like one big interactive land. Okay. Questions that you all have for our 2-point perspective lesson?
Is this due Friday?
I will have this due on, it'll be due Friday. So we're going to have today, have tomorrow to work on it. But the due date will actually be, so here's my struggle. I'm going to have it due on Friday. I'm not going to mark it late until like Monday. We can go over our next steps on Monday. So if you get it done by Friday, I would recommend you get it done by tomorrow. We'll have a check-in. Everybody will come here. I'll answer some questions, and then you'll have tomorrow's whole class period to work on. But I don't want you to work on it over the weekend.
Okay.
Good question. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna be here tomorrow because I have a photo shoot.
Okay, then all you need to do is email me like during class time, okay, or like before or whenever to say, hey, Mr. Noso, reminding you I'm not going to be here today. And then I will get you entered for your attendance.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Do we have an attendance question today?
Yeah, just type your name on the side, and then I showed a video at the beginning,
right.
and I asked a question about the video. So just type your name, you'll be fine. Thanks, Wayne. So if that's it, go ahead and hop off. If you need extra help, stay on and chat with me. But other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.